All right, everyone, we are back for episode 81 of Stub Luv Live. And I'm kind of excited. I got to tell you, I watched a show recently and I saw a gentleman talking about sports cards. And one of the things he was talking about were dream sports cards, ones that he doesn't think he'll ever acquire, but they're super, super cool. And then ones that are goal sports cards, ones that he hopes one day to acquire. And I thought, hey, I'd like to see that application as it relates to tickets. So I figured I'll do a little show on it, and I hope you enjoy. I hope you watch. All right. So we're here for episode 81 of Stub Luv Live, and as Tom says, let's run. And yeah, we're gonna run through some things here tonight. I saw this great YouTuber, and he was talking about cards, dream cards, and then goal cards. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool to see how that would apply to our kind of collective ticket collections? So what I did was I thought about 5 tickets that for me are dream tickets that I would absolutely 100% love to own, but don't think I'll ever really be able to afford them. Now maybe I would acquire one of them in a trade. But other than potentially picking it up in a trade, I don't think I have the cash to be able to lay out to afford these tickets. And then, what are some of the goal tickets? Ones that maybe one day, I don't know about 2026, I could put in my collection and acquire, and kind of looking forward to trying to piece these few together. So, and then I got 3 surprises at the end that we'll talk about as well. So let me go ahead and punch this up on the screen. My first dream ticket, without question, and I think it's many collectors' dream ticket, is the Jackie Robinson Major League debut. And, I got to tell you, it really hurts me, this one, because I had the opportunity about 10 years ago to purchase a Jackie Robinson debut, and it just wasn't right in my life at that point in time to spend about $10,000 on the Jackie Robinson debut. And I kicked myself, but, again, have to make smart familial decisions, not make stupid decisions. So this is a ticket that now has really gotten up there in price. I think the last one sold for about $366,000 to a card collector, a collector that doesn't collect tickets, but has now started to add some tickets to his collection and to his repertoire. So we're always glad to see that. I think the highest sale on a Jackie Robinson debut ticket is a little over $450,000, and that was sold to one of the owners of the Milwaukee Brewers. So not just an amazing sports ticket, it's a piece of history, it's a piece of social history, it's a piece of Americana. And the fact that there are only, 15 or 16 of these around makes it incredibly rare. So one that I covet, one that I would love to someday put my hands on. But I still think, in my world at least, it's a dream. It really is. Let's move to the second one. Wait. Yeah, that's great. So Rivalry Sportswear says, I may have a few green tickets. I love it. Yeah, we should have that category. And he puts in Brady debut, Messi debut, and his dream is a Jordan debut and a Hank Aaron debut. Yeah, some pretty awesome tickets, I got to tell you. I think we're going to see some overlap from most ticket collectors on this particular list. My next dream ticket or dream pair of tickets These are the Abraham Lincoln assassination tickets. We know that Malcolm Forbes at some point owned these tickets. I think he purchased the pair for $52,000. I want to say it's 10 plus years ago. And then they were recently sold again a year or so ago to Jim Irsay. And I think they went for a few $100,000. These tickets are, I mean, you want to talk about history. It doesn't get any better than this. Just phenomenal pieces of history. They belong in a museum. PSA wouldn't grade them because, you know, there's handwritten section and seat numbers on the tickets. And then I think there were some questions as to on the actual section number or the section area that the D's were maybe written a little differently. So there was a question about authentication. But, you know, I've studied these tickets, and although the D's look slightly different, I think they look different because the pencil was picked up when they were carrying through the end or the tail of that D. So I do believe it's in the same hand. At least it looks that way to me. And yeah, I think, you know, Tom makes a great point. And thank you, Tom. I was thinking the same thing myself. Now with the passing of Jim Irsay and his collection going up on the block, and I think that's Sotheby's. I'm sure these tickets make it back into the world of another collector owning them, and that will be great. And it won't be me, but I still think these are terrific pieces of history. And you know, one day I would love to have an opportunity to acquire one of them. I just don't think that will ever happen for me. Maybe for somebody else, but not for me. Third ticket, another grail of grails and a dream ticket for me is Lou Gehrig's Luckiest Man speech. You know, we've seen one recently sell for, I think it was about $175,000, and that was a month or two ago. And now there's one on Heritage. Currently, I think it's a high grade. It's a 5, I believe, with a mark, but a gorgeous ticket. I want to say right now, and there's still a long time left in the auction. It's, I want to say it's already at maybe $120,000 or $130,000, and I certainly think it's going to surpass that sale a couple of months ago. So the person who acquired that one, I think was really smart and had great foresight. I don't think this is one that I'll ever acquire. I think I had chances maybe some years ago when I was not as educated in the ticket world. I wasn't as smart as I am now. I didn't understand it as well as I do now. But I think, you know, tickets like this that, you know, you're talking about $200,000 or $300,000. I mean, when I bought my first house cost less than these tickets. So, yeah, as much as I love this ticket, and I actually dream about this ticket, I've had dreams about this ticket where I find it in a shoe box or I find it in a cigar box, you know, at some garage sale, and it's always the Lou Gehrig ticket. So maybe if I will hard enough, I'll get it. But I don't think I'm going to be able to put this one in my collection as much as I covet it, and as much as I think it's a phenomenal ticket. It too is a piece of history, and it captures one of the greatest moments, saddest but greatest moments too, in sports. Thank you to Calvin B. Cards, great ticket collector. I appreciate the kind words and your kind of continued support. Moving on, fourth dream ticket, the 1932 World Series Game 3, but a full ticket. The Babe Ruth called shot ticket. I think this is just a piece of art. And as much as I love the fact that I own a stub, and I'm thrilled that I own a stub, having a full, I think, just takes you to a different place in the world of ticket collecting. It's definitely one of those tickets where there's a large population count for the stubs. It's a World Series ticket. It was an important moment in sports. So people held on to it. It's Babe Ruth. But then you got the full, and there's not a lot of fulls out there. Maybe, I don't know, a couple of handfuls of them. So very rare. I think there's one right now in the Heritage auction. That's a full. It's got a lot of action. It's got some, I think, paper loss on the back, or it was taken out of a scrapbook and there's some paper on the back. So I don't know if someone else would be able to get that off and maybe, improve the condition of the ticket if they're brave enough. But this is a ticket that, I think every ticket collector covets in any form, even if it's a stub. But I think it's an elite ticket if you can find it as a full ticket. And someone here, Robert Teller, says, if the Root Call Shot ticket was a small pop, it would be a consensus top 3. I have to be honest with you, Robert. I still think it's a consensus top 3 ticket with the large pop report because of the great moment in sports, the artistic nature of it. It's Babe Ruth, it's the Yankees, it's a World Series. So I still say it's a consensus top 3 ticket for sure. So this is one I would love to own. Maybe one day, I don't know, but probably still in that world of a dream ticket, especially since the prices of these are going up. One of my good friends here in the ticket world and in the hobby, Scott Foraker, bought a one that was in phenomenal shape not that long ago, and it kind of flew under the radar a little bit. He got very lucky, and I'm always happy when good people get lucky. And Scott deserves it. He's just a phenomenal guy, and he picked one up in great condition. And yeah, that was one of the best ones that I've seen recently. The prices have increased so dramatically since Scott purchased his a year or so ago. So good for him. My last dream ticket is the Michael Jordan NBA debut, a full ticket and a full red. I guess one would also say that maybe I would be able to pick up a red stub. The full is a pop 1. Could I pick up a stub? Maybe, but even the stubs are extremely expensive right now. They're very tough to find, even though Joe Orlando from Heritage Auction did a phenomenal job in acquiring, a handful of them in the recent, year plus. But I don't know that there's many more of them out there. So for me to be able to find, even a stub that's red in halfway decent condition, it's going to be a pretty significant and substantial number. So I don't necessarily know, unless it would come to me in a trade for something, that I would ever be able to acquire a ticket like this. So we'll see. Maybe one day. So look, there's other dream tickets that I have. I'm sure there's other dream tickets that you all have. But I wanted to move now into the goal tickets. And I think everyone's got their own goals based on what you collect and, where you're from and what ticket collecting means specifically to you. My first gold ticket is a ticket that I've missed on twice. This is Charles Barkley's NBA debut. I grew up a Philadelphia 76ers fan. I really absolutely 100% love Charles Barkley. Meant so much to me. Just absolutely, one of my favorites. And it's a very rare debut ticket. And I'm not so sure why. One popped up on eBay. And I think it had a buy it now price of $4,500. And, I hesitated for a second, and another phenomenal collector, Eric Zitter, bought it now immediately. He collects all of the NBA debuts of the players on the Dream Team, and he needed Charles Barkley because he had never seen one before. So he acquired that one. And then maybe a couple of months later, and it might have even been the same seller, I don't remember, someone else posted a Charles Barkley debut. And again, just bad luck, missed it. And that's one that I haven't been able to put my hands on. I would love to put my hands on it, but I haven't been able to find another one. So if anyone out there knows where there's a Charles Barkley debut and you're interested in trading or doing something, I'd love to have the opportunity to put that one in my collection. Charles means a lot to me, means a lot to, me and my childhood and my family and growing up. So kind of a cool one. Got lots of comments here. So I want to add that in. Someone says, the sign NASA Apollo 11, a launch pass is my dream ticket. Well, I got to tell you, I appreciate that. Russ, it's a big one. It's cool. Having a pass signed by the Apollo 11 is pretty cool. Yeah, maybe Rob. The Philly Fanatic debut is a big one. I was lucky enough to get a Philly Fanatic debut from Randall Hahn, who's a phenomenal ticket collector. And he knew how much I love the Phillies and my Philadelphia sports. So he made that one available to me, and I bought that some years ago. And yeah, that's tucked away in my collection. Josh Eisenberg, great ticket collector. He agrees with me, Robert. Ruth Called Shot was number 3 in the top 100. And no matter what the pop report is, it's a top 3, top 5, top 2, top 1, maybe ticket in all of ticket collecting. And then, yeah, great one. Barkley debut. Very cool. And for me, just been kind of one of those elusive tickets that I haven't been able to put my hands on. And I've had opportunities, which, kind of makes it a little more painful. Moving on. My second gold ticket, a Wilt Chamberlain 100-point game ticket. No excuse. I've had opportunities to get them. Would like to put my hands on one. Wilt's also, a Philadelphia legend. The 100-point game took place when he was a member of the Warriors. So probably an opportunity for me to be able to get this. Probably would do it through a trade if I could. Don't really care about condition. I've seen some that have, writing on the back, and I really wouldn't care about that. But again, probably one that's a gold ticket. Probably would have to do it through a trade, but one that, yeah, I've coveted for a long time, and I think would fit nicely in my ticket collection. The next one, Wayne Gretzky NHL debut. And this one, I got to tell everyone, I'm very close to putting into my collection. Hopefully, I will be able to consummate a deal on one before the National. I'm working on that, and I'll talk more about it as that happens. But this is one that I've really coveted and really wanted. I think Wayne Gretzky is the greatest hockey player to ever play the game. He lives not too far from me, so there's opportunities for me to potentially get it signed. And I don't think there are many signed ones, even though Wayne's a really nice guy. He doesn't really do private signings or sit downs. I think he's an exclusive to Upper Deck, and you can't send stuff in. So I do hear about Wayne around town at different places, golf courses and things like that. So once I can put this one in my collection, the goal will be to get it signed. Because I love signed tickets, and I think Wayne's NHL debut would be a terrific addition to my collection. Obviously, his professional debut, his WHA debut, that's a real amazing and scarce ticket. That would be on the dream list. But really, for me, I think knowing more about the NHL and the popularity of the NHL. I think his NHL debut is really just a terrific ticket, and I kind of think it's still pretty undervalued. There's not that many of them. One PSA 9, the highest graded, sold for a really big number a couple of months ago, and there's a PSA 8 that's in the Heritage auction right now. Ricky Tatara, who is a great collector, I had featured on my show. Came on, it's his ticket, and already that ticket is really starting to get up there in price. So I wish Ricky all the best. I hope he does really well with that. I know he will, because it's a great ticket. But yeah, I'm close on the NHL debut of Wayne Gretzky. So hopefully it'll be in my possession before the National. Another comment here from Calvin B. Cards. Yeah, Michael Phelps debut ticket for his Phelps PC. Yeah, just have to find the right copy. Yeah, don't wait too long. You gotta grab one, because all of a sudden there's a lot out there, and then there's not so many out there, and then you're like, why didn't I buy it when I should have? This has always been a gold ticket of mine. The 1919 World Series Game 8, the clincher. I have Game 1, which is a pretty memorable ticket where the idea was the Chicago White Sox pitcher Eddie Seacott, if he hit the first batter, the quote fix was on. So I have that ticket, and I was able to pick that one up a few years ago. That's really gotten some legs. This ticket is one I've always wanted because I really like the history of the 1919 World Series. This ticket's pretty expensive, and it's always been expensive, even years ago when I was collecting tickets. And tickets weren't as expensive as they are now. I couldn't bring myself to pay the money for one. And I think now they've gotten really, really expensive. So I don't know. It's still a gold ticket of mine. I'd love to be able to put one in my collection. Again, it would be great. I know Mike Violi, a great ticket collector, he just picked up a 1919 Game 1. I think he's picked up maybe a couple of the other games. How great would it be to put all 8 games together? Would be phenomenal. So, maybe not for me, but absolutely maybe one for someone else. And, when Tom Daly tells you it's a rare ticket, it's a rare ticket. It's a tough one. It's a good one. And it's a goal, but it's a dream. And maybe it's, like you said before, it's a green. I don't know. We'll put it in the green category. Wanted to just do a couple of more here. I have a gold ticket. This is the 1923 Yankees opening day ticket. It's kind of called the House That Ruth Built ticket. Phenomenal ticket. A couple have sold recently. Tom was lucky enough to pick one up in the Weiss auction. Phenomenal shape. And, I thought he did very well on the price. I knew Tom was chasing that ticket. And I was so happy that Tom won it. There was another one, I think, in the Heritage auction that was after Tom's purchase on the Weiss auction that was not in as nice shape. Still a great ticket. And it went for almost double, I think, what Tom paid for his in the original auction. So not too many of these. I've always coveted one, would always love one. Gold ticket of mine. Interestingly enough, I think at the end of 2025, or maybe even at the end of 2024, people were asking, what's the one ticket you want to put in your collection? It was this one. And now it's 2 years later and I still don't have it. And, I guess timing's everything. We'll figure it out one day, I hope. But this one's eluded me too. Phenomenal ticket. Babe Ruth opens Yankee Stadium on opening day, first game at Yankee Stadium, and he hits a home run. I mean, how great of a ticket. Doesn't get any better than that. So those were the 10 dream tickets and gold tickets. I did a couple of honorable mentions just because, how can you just do 10? There's so many more, but this honorable mention is the Sandy Koufax debut ticket. One I've always coveted, big Koufax fan, always growing up, loved talking to Sandy when I would, meet him in Dodger Town, was always real respectful, really nice to collectors. Always just a quality human being. He's getting up there in age. I think he's, 90 now or close to 90. And, not going to be too much time left. Look, I hope he lives forever to get one of these and to get it signed as well. So love to pick one up, signed or unsigned, to add to my collection. I think this is a phenomenal ticket. Honorable mention for me, the second one is the Super Bowl, 1967 Super Bowl. It's the first Super Bowl, not even called the Super Bowl, but Super Bowl I, a full ticket. I've had opportunities at these, and for whatever reason, haven't been able to put them in my collection, but terrific ticket, phenomenal to get one in full condition. Kind of elusive. I think whenever they're up for sale, they go for real money. But I still think the fulls are undervalued, and I probably shouldn't say that because I'm trying to acquire one, and all of a sudden I start to say things on this show and other collectors start to say things, and then the prices go up and it's harder to put them in your collection, but that's okay. If it's good for ticket collecting, I'll sacrifice it. But great ticket, I think undervalued. Would love to put one in my collection. Fulls are rare and stubs are not, but fulls are. So I thought about that one as an honorable mention. And then my last honorable mention, for all the guys on the Discord and all the international collectors, they know that I've hyped this ticket a lot. This is the Lionel Messi professional debut. This is the Espanol debut. This is not the friendly debut that everyone has, that are a dime a dozen. There's only a very limited population of these. Lionel Messi is, he's the GOAT of soccer. He's Michael Jordan and Wayne Gretzky and Babe Ruth and Tiger Woods, probably all combined into one. And there's a very limited amount of these tickets. There's been a few sales recently. One going back a couple years, I think, and it was $5,000 or $6,000. It was a joke, silly, ridiculously low number. I think there was a press pass that went for $7,000, and then another actual ticket that went fairly recently for like $15,000. And again, I think we're going to look back at that $15,000 sale and kind of laugh at how ridiculously low that sold for. So this one would be one that, is an honorable mention for me. I've had opportunities in the golden auction to buy them, let them slip through my fingers. So silly, but really impressive ticket, very rare, of one of the GOATs of sports. So yeah, that would be another honorable mention in my world. Went about a half hour, and hope you all enjoyed it. I know I did. I know I enjoyed putting together the PowerPoint and kind of going through all these with you. Maybe I'll do it once a year and see what's changed, see if any of the dreams have become a reality, and if any of the goals have been completed. I'm sure the list will change a little bit here and there over the years. If you would, drop in the comments what your list of goal and dream tickets are. I'd love to hear about it. Certainly, if you have that list, put a couple down in the comments, and maybe we can get some dialogue going about it. But I appreciate everyone watching. Episode 81 of Stub Luv Live is done. Thank you all so very much for watching. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the support. I thank you so very much for tuning in and supporting this and watching it and giving me time. Try to do this for the ticket hobby. We're growing, guys. We're getting bigger, and we've got big news coming out soon. It's going to be a big announcement. I'm going to do it on the show in a couple of weeks. Big news in the ticket world. Can't wait to share it with you. See you soon.